Last time these two teams met in early January, Jalen Penn played hero, and Indiana knocked off Michigan State at home. Now the two teams meet yet again, this time in East Lansing here at the Breslin Center, where tonight the 24th-ranked Spartans play host to the Hoosiers. And good evening, everybody. Alongside Shelley Till, my name is Jordan Bergfield. Thanks so much for joining us. The last time the two teams played, Allie Patberg was in the lineup, but this time, Shelley, she's out with a dislocated shoulder suffered last week.
And there you see the impact she makes in terms of the numbers, but what you don't see is the lack of depth that creates and the ball handling struggle that Indiana could face. So they will adjust by committee with sophomore Bendu Yaney and freshman Grace Berger.
Speaking of that, here are our starting lineups for tonight's game, and Berger in the starting lineup for Indiana with Patberg out. And for Michigan State, a lineup that they've gone to a lot recently with Sydney Cooks in the lineup, and it's worked for them.
It really has. Cooks has really stepped it up in terms of her performance, especially offensively. One of the areas of concern for her this evening, though, is how is she going to defend the play of Indiana, who has post players that can pull you and spread you and put it on the floor.
And so these two teams getting set to go once again. The last time it was a 68-64 win for Indiana. But this Hoosier team comes in having lost 5 of their last 7 games. They really need a victory. And tonight it's not going to be easy. Michigan State is 12-0 at home, one of 3 Big Ten teams unblemished in their home building.
Well, the Breslin Center, definitely one of the more difficult places to play if you are the visiting team. One of my favorite places to be as a broadcaster.
Terry Morin trying to get her team going tonight, seeking her 100th win as the head coach at Indiana. Bendu Yaney and Sydney Cooks there for the tip, and away we go, and it's Indiana basketball to start it out. Here is Bendu Yaney, and now Jalen Penn, and she hoists a 3 right away. Jenna Allen grabs the rebound.
And you expect a fast-paced, up-and-down type of game. Both of these teams love to push the ball in transition.
Now Michigan State with its first try. Here is Colley meeting Allen in the post. All right, that's a turnover by Michigan State. When you look at this Indiana team, Shelley, what are you expecting in terms of how things will change with their point guard at Patberg out?
Well, it's definitely a huge adjustment for them. Yaney has experience at the point guard. And there you see she's going to take it off the bounce. I like the decision to push the defense early on. In addition to that, we talked about the freshman on the ball right there against McCutcheon, Grace Berger. She has experience playing the point guard position in high school. Very successful career in Louisville, Kentucky. But what she lacks a little bit is just that experience that you need out of your point guard in terms of vocalism on the floor.
There's a nice drive to the basket for Shea Colley, redshirt junior from Brampton, Ontario.
Shea Colley is the playmaker for this Spartan team.
And there's a good start for Grace Berger. And the freshman who is so highly touted now getting an opportunity here with Allie Patberg out. And off the rebound, she'll bring it across the floor.
That's just excellent court vision out of Berger right there. And great patience by Royster underneath.
Kim Royster, the senior, was 5th on the team in scoring. Indiana's been looking for a little more consistency from Kim, and maybe she'll step things up. Now Jenna Allen, miss on the jumper, and a foul coming up. There is Terry Morin looking for that 100th win tonight at Indiana, but almost 300 wins overall at 298. Has spent her coaching career at a few different stops in the state of Indiana, and she's won everywhere she's been.
Definitely done an excellent job with this Hoosier club, obviously winning the WNIT with her club last season, and now this year looking to try to get into that NCAA tournament.
Now Nia Clouden on the drive, and another foul.
Hoosier foul called at number 180, her second, team's second.
There is Susie Merchant, the head coach of Michigan State, who's done an outstanding job here in 12 years. 260 wins with the program, 461 overall.
Consistently has this Spartan ball club in the top 3 in terms of where they end up every single season. Right now, hanging on to that number 4 spot in the league and looking to, like I said, hang on to it.
And there's Bendu Yeaney heading to the bench. Already 2 personal fouls against Yeaney, and especially with Patberg out, you know that this is something that Teri Morin did not want to see. Yeaney is just so valuable in so many ways.
She really is, and not only because she's helping to take on the load of the point guard position offensively, but she's their best defender.
Grace Berger will draw a foul going up.
The beauty of something like this type of adversity you talk about with losing Ali Patberg, is it forces someone else to step up. And a lot of times what you see amongst younger players is they kind of sit back and take a back seat to the older players and say, well, that's, you know, I'm just going to fulfill my role. They're capable of fulfilling bigger roles, as you see Patberg sitting on the bench there in a much different position in terms of cheering her team on. But a player the caliber of a Grace Berger, who, like I said, was so successful, a 5-star recruit coming out of Kentucky. This is a game where she has the opportunity to go from that reserve, that kind of backup role, to step up and take the reins.
There is Ali Patberg watching as Grace Berger hits the free throw. Berger had 10 points in the last matchup between these two teams, so they're hoping that with this starting nod, it'll provide her an opportunity to perhaps contribute more. There's Shea Colley knocking down the 3. She's got 5 early points for Michigan State.
And if there's one player you do not want to get hot early, it's Shea Colley. But that is exactly what Susie Merchant needs her to do, and has talked about it today, the inconsistency of her play.
And now the turnover by Indiana, McCutcheon across. Colley in the post against Wise, and that shot off target. Brenna Wise on the drive, and a blocking foul is called.
I like the decision right there. Wise understanding the matchup, and they did a great job of pushing the ball in transition, Indiana did, and Wise immediately puts it on the floor to create that contact.
Victoria Gaines picks up her first. And now Kim Royster off the inbounds play, can't get that one to fall. She nearly lost it. Now she does. Worthen's got it across the floor for the easy layup.
Both of these coaches mentioned turnovers in the shoot-arounds today as it being a concern, a big concern, especially on Indiana's side. And there you see McCutcheon turning it over at a crucial time for Michigan State. Just some of those unforced errors.
Now Jenna Allen going to work against Royster, the miss, and Kim grabs the rebound. Berger on the drive and kick to the corner. Gets it back from Penn. Hoists the 3 and knocks it down.
That's a pretty stroke by Grace Berger.
Grace Berger with 6 early points, and Teri Morin's got to love what she's seen from the freshman.
Just an excellent job. Berger gets all the way into that elbow area, penetrate, pitch, and then another penetrate and pitch. Excellent 3-point shooter. And then just getting a little bit too fancy with the ball. Taryn McCutcheon gets her pocket picked, and an easy 2 the other way for the Hoosiers.
Jenna Allen at the free throw line. Cannot connect on the first. You see Grace Berger off to a great start. Has 6 early points and a couple of rebounds.
Yeah, if you're Teri Morin, you got to love the start out of your freshman facing adversity in her first start in terms of that point guard position, especially as we mentioned earlier, Yeaney going out with 2 fouls extremely early.
Jenna Allen 1 out of 2. Keep an eye on Jenna Allen tonight. She needs 9 points to get to 1,000 in her career at Michigan State. She'd be the 27th player ever to reach that mark.
And Michigan State going to show some pressure here off of the free throw, something that Susie Merchant said she's going to kind of mix in tonight, mixing defenses up a little bit compared to what they did in the first matchup against Indiana. And look at this, Michigan State is in a zone. It was almost like a bad word that Susie Merchant didn't want to say in shoot-around today. Yeah, we're going to try some zone.
Here's McCutcheon, a 3 from the wing. No, Berger rips down the rebound. And now across the floor goes Goulbe. That's short. And it's going to stay with Indiana.
So McCutcheon thought she had it. And she stepped on the baseline. A little tightrope action there.
And so the Hoosiers will keep it as McCutcheon goes to the bench. Inbound goes to Brenna Wise, but faces an immediate double, but able to keep it.
Brenna Wise, one of the new faces on this Indiana team. Transfer out of Pitt, had to sit last year and has really stepped it up this season.
Off the steal, Colley lost it out of bounds. It'll be Indiana basketball when we come back. These two teams have played a lot of good games. 10-7 the score. Indiana the lead over Michigan State here in the first quarter as we welcome you to the Breslin Center alongside Shelley Till. I'm Jordan Burnfield. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, Allie Patberg out of the lineup for Indiana, Shelley, but how about Grace Berger stepping up right away with 6 early points?
Very, very impressed by this young woman out of Louisville, Kentucky. Grace Berger has done a phenomenal job for Indiana. You couldn't have asked for a better start from a freshman, and she's doing it multiple ways. The pull-up jump shot, the vision is incredible inside to Royster, and then showing off her shooting prowess from beyond the arc. Grace Berger has done a tremendous job early on in this game. She's perfect from the field, 3 boards in 5 minutes of play, and a couple, assists to go along with that. I really like, she's not playing like a freshman right now.
She was a Miss Basketball finalist in the state of Kentucky and a Kentucky All-Star. A very highly touted recruit, as you mentioned, Shelley, a 5-star pick for Indiana, and now getting an opportunity here, perhaps to fulfill a variety of roles, as long as Allie Patberg is out.
Michigan State right now is being pushed away from the lane lines. That's one thing that they worked relentlessly on in shoot-around today. Really trying to push Michigan State's players away from those lane lines and force them to start their offense out, and they're doing an excellent job.
Jalen Penn goes coast to coast to lay it in.
Boy, Jalen Penn has something in her craw about Michigan State. She steps up big time against this club. We talked to her about it today, and she said, I don't know what it is, but just something about it probably going back to that quadruple overtime game in the tournament. She really steps it up.
Victoria Gaines steps up from downtown. That's her first 3. Michigan State brings it back within 2. Yeah, Jalen Penn likes playing in this building. Certainly hit that big shot to beat Michigan State back in early January.
And you see Shea Colley has her right now, and she is just draped all over Penn. They worked relentlessly on hedging that ball screen and staying with her.
Penn on the 3 try, that's off target. And the rebound to Nia Holly. On the drive, it's Clouden, has that one knocked away. Out of bounds, it'll be Indiana basketball.
Well, Jalen Penn, we talked about how she loves to play against the Spartans, and here she's going to take matters into her own hands with the rebound and going coast to coast, downhill with the easy 2. Just love her competitiveness and the fire. I was so impressed with her poise and just the maturity when we got a chance to speak with her today. A very well-spoken young woman with a high basketball IQ and a great future ahead of her.
And one of the things that she said, which impressed me, Shelley, is a sophomore. She said, with Allie Patberg out of the lineup, it's incumbent upon me and some of my teammates to keep everyone calm on the floor. Make sure everybody knows where they have to go. That's normally an answer you get from a senior, but you got that from a sophomore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved that. She made me feel more calm just speaking to her. She understands that it doesn't behoove her to get all worked up and flustered. And if she can just, because of the experience that she's had on the floor, that calmness translates over to the younger players.
Hooks the turnaround from inside the arc. Sydney Cooks with her first basket of the game.
And you have two post players for Michigan State hitting long-range shots, something we talk about that Jenna Allen does all the time for this club. So the fact that Gaines and Cooks both have hit from the outside is a good omen for the Spartans.
There's a shot from Gouldin that's off target, rebounded by Cooks. Mia Holly passed up the three and now puts it off glass for the bucket.
All of a sudden, the Spartans have come alive.
And they've got the lead.
And they like to score. They like to score in bunches and quickly. Right now, this pace is playing, I think, to their advantage. Being able to get down the floor and get up quick, easy shots. And there she is once again, the freshman.
Degree of difficulty, too, for Grace Berger, ending a 7-0 run for Michigan State.
It's such I love the art of the jump shot. This is a game that has turned into, especially the women's game, either beyond the arc or getting to the rim. And being able to hit that mid-range jump shot is a lost art. I absolutely love it. She's hedged. She goes high, and she says, you're not going to deny me. Gets to the elbow and elevates. And then Cook just rejects the handoff, turns around. They're not going to guard her, so she says, okay, I'll show you what I can do.
Now 2 fouls on Jalen Penn. So Bendu Yaney and Jalen Penn both playing with 2 fouls in the first quarter for Indiana.
Yeah, this is really, much more significant, I think, than people at home just sitting and watching a game when you're talking about the likes of an Allie Patberg and Bendu Yaney sitting on the bench. That's high production and a lot of minutes for this Hoosier team.
Mia Clouden knocks down the jumper. The Hoosiers' depth is being tested here early. Berger off target. And now a foul that'll send it the other way. It'll go on Gulbe, her first. We'll see Ali Patberg and Bendu Yaney as well. Well, the Big Ten Women's Sports Report keeps you up to date on everything happening around the conference. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. Don't miss Women's Sports Report, all new on Mondays.
I'll be there next Monday.
Looking forward to watching.
Little women's sports report action. It's always fun to pull that off on Monday and talk about, especially this year in this league. I mean, it's crazy. The teams that are knocking each other off from top to bottom in the middle right now is just a mess.
Right.
In a good way.
Every game feels like a coin flip right now in the middle of the conference.
Every game is crunch time. You hate to use that terminology, but it really is. And it's crunch time for these two teams as well. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But right now, Michigan State going to come out in that 2-2-1 pressure, trying to create some turnovers, get their defense, turn it into offense. The other thing that does is it forces your freshman in Berger to have to adjust and pay attention to what Coach Morin is telling her and then convey that message to her team in a much shorter amount of time.
Down to 5 to shoot. Wise on the 3. No. Shot clock off. Michigan State can work for the last possession here in the first quarter. In the corner, Colley for 3. No. Rebound, Gulbe. And that'll do it for the first quarter of play here in East Lansing. Well, the Michigan State Spartans with an 18-14 lead, and Indiana's depth being tested early here at the Breslin Center. Basketball on BTN is presented by State Farm, here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day here in East Lansing at the Breslin Center, where all the girls in attendance getting an opportunity to test their athletic prowess and also meet the team. And there will be a celebration coming up at halftime as well here in East Lansing. So that should be great. Well, we were talking about how basically every game is a coin flip in the middle of the standings. Look at this. 4 through 11 in the Big Ten. There's no separation.
There really isn't. I mean, look at that. 3 teams tied for 5th. You got Michigan State, I mentioned, hanging on to 4th, which is why this game tonight is so crucial for them. And then at the bottom, Indiana's hanging on. You got Minnesota all of a sudden starting to bump people off. I mean, it's crazy. Anything can happen, and you can't look ahead on your schedule and say, oh, yeah, that's an easy win for us. There are no easy victories in the Big Ten this season, men's side or women's side.
Those both sides of the bracket.
It really is. I don't know that it's ever been this much parity across the board on both sides.
Kim Royster picks up a foul. So basically what it means is that when we get to the Big Ten tournaments on both sides, it's going to be must-see TV.
I know. I can't wait.
At the free throw line is Shea Colley, knocks down the first. Michigan State now on a 12-2 scoring run for the end of the first quarter to now.
Well, not only that are they on a run, but they did it with balance. They have 6 players that have scored for this team in that run. Just an incredible, which explains why they're so difficult to prepare for, because you really cannot sag off of somebody or discount one of any player out there at any given moment, because they all have a different weapon in their arsenal.
Michigan State, Shelley, back to the zone as Gouldey tries to beat it and does from the free throw line.
That's where you do not want the ball when you are in a zone defense. Can't allow it to get into the middle and the guts and the teeth of that zone.
McCutcheon working against Yaney. Picked up 2 fouls back in the first quarter. Now on the drive, Taryn McCutcheon the miss. Gouldey tried to rip the rebound down, and then Gaines called for the foul.
Clark foul called on 15 Gaines, her second, team's first of the quarter.
Here you're seeing this zone defense, and they've got it. Everybody's covered it here, but then you split the ball at the top. The defender kind of took the bait on the fake, and then Gouldey just went right down the middle of it.
Jalen Penn trying to get a posting Yaney into a double, able to fight her way out of it to Wise. Now Penn on the drive, high off the glass and missed. Michigan State's defense collapsed on Penn there.
They really did. They know exactly where she is at all times. She was the focal point of the scouting report.
Allen goes inside. And a traveling violation called against Michigan State. That'll be on Mardrika Cook.
I like the idea. They had Cooks on, I believe Penn was defending her that time, and so trying to take it in and a little bit of guard forward posting up action with the high-low feed, but she got a little bit of happy feet.
And here's steal from Cook, but instead a foul is called on Mardrika. Thursday, we bring you a Valentine's Day doubleheader of women's hoops. The Gophers and Boilers at 6, then the Huskers and Terrapins after. Catch it Thursday on BTN. And coming around the screen, an open 3, the miss. And out of bounds off of Michigan State.
And you hit the nail on the head, Jordan. An open 3 for Penn. Not something that you want to allow her many opportunities, but Indiana is so good at running off screens. Their offensive playbook is thicker than the old phone books when we used to have those. But they run screen after screen after screen, and it's just a lot of action to try to keep up with. And that time, Penn does an excellent job of recognizing someone's trying to close out on her, and she attacks the rim.
Jalen Penn second on Indiana in scoring, coming in just under 14 points per game. And a real nice freshman season, and he continues to develop into a real good player in this league. And now a turnover by Michigan State.
Well, Jalen Penn is one of those players you've got to be prepared for anything. And there you see the closeout by Cook. She gives her the little head fake and drive. That's exactly the way you teach players coming up in this game. Get in triple threat position. Be ready to take the shot, or if you see someone flying at you, put it on the deck.
Penn's been dealing with an ankle injury a lot of this year, and had good explosion there to the basket. This time feeds inside for Wise, who draws the foul.
Brenna Wise moving without the basketball, putting on a clinic right there. Just did an excellent job. You're going to see her come off this back screen from Berger, and Michigan State has to switch it, and Wise is wide open underneath. That's excellent execution. They just make it so difficult to defend because of it's just constant movement. I mean, your head has to be on a swivel if you're a defender against this Indiana offense.
Brenna Wise, who's one of the best free throw shooters in the country, finally missed one. She's a 93% free throw shooter.
Second in the NCAA.
A rare miss. Here's Colley on the wing. Misses the three. Wise collided with Clouden going for the rebound and a foul call.
Well, Indiana is relentless on the glass, and those long shots are going to lead to long rebounds. And that looks like Wise just went right in. Yeah, got the elbow out for the board, and it nicked Clouden in the mouth.
Of course, Clouden gets the foul. That's her second. Now off the miss, Yaney comes down. She is still on the ground. And so Indiana playing with 4 on this side, and now the officials whistle the play dead. And boy, you just hope Bendu Yaney is okay.
Well, she elevated, and that's an understatement, on that rebound attempt. She drove in, took the layup, and then came down pretty hard.
Bendu Yaney, a couple of fouls early in this game. As Terry Morin looks on, she comes back in. And went down hard. A little bit shaken up. Allie Patberg, who's of course out right now, looking on. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you can see her elevate right there, and it almost looks like she comes down on that right hip. Yeah, there were no feet underneath her when she landed. So hopefully that's just one of those kind of maybe wind knocked out of you, hurts the tailbone, stings for a while, but hopefully Yaney can regroup and feel better and get back in.
And now Taryn McCutcheon, the bucket for Michigan State. Berger feeding the post for Royster. And on Cooks.
That's a good, strong move out of Kim Royster. Like that little power slide in the post.
Kim Royster now 4 early points. Jenna Allen going to take the 3 from the corner. And how about that? Goes out there to grab the pinballing rebound. And now Cooks knocks down the 3.
Cannot lose sight of Sydney Cooks, especially tonight. She's hot.
Wise off from the free throw line. Royster had it ripped out of her hands by McCutcheon. Taryn McCutcheon off on that three-point try. That would have been a big momentum swing for Michigan State. Offensive foul against Indiana on Kim Royster.
And Taryn McCutcheon just kind of got Penn back on her heels. That little hesitation, just enough. You saw Penn kind of stand up, and not against Taryn McCutcheon. She's like a water bug speed out there. Just attacked. As soon as she saw the hesitation in the feet out of Jalen Penn.
Target. Wise in there to grab it.
A lot of 3 balls going up and not going in for the Spartans right now.
These are 2 of the best teams in the Big Ten in terms of three-point shooting. Wise will step back and knocks down that 3.
That was just pretty.
4 points for Brenna Wise. And it brings us to a timeout on the floor. We've got a good one here in East Lansing.
And a beautiful drive, feed, fake it till you make it. Brenna Wise.
Well, we told you these are 2 of the best teams in terms of three-point percentage. Take a look here in the Big Ten. Their three-point percentage first and their opponent three-point percentage at the top. So these are two teams that are going to hoist them, and they're going to be defending them.
Yeah, and right now, Michigan State is actually shooting their percentage for the game, but for the quarter, not so much. They're just 1 of 4 in this second quarter, and I think that they're coming down, it seems to me, and just kind of launching that three. Now, when they make them, yeah, everybody cheers, and it's great, but when you've missed 3 out of 4 attempts, and you're only in a 1-point game, I want to see a higher percentage shot go up.
On the corner, Laney back in, but misses the three. Good to see Bendu come in after the timeout. And it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Indiana, 8 to shoot.
Brenna Wise is just everywhere on the floor. She didn't secure that ball, but she flew in from the wing to keep it alive and force it off the Michigan State player.
3 to shoot for Grace Berger. Jumper hits off the side of the rim. Holly thought about the open three, doesn't take it.
I like that decision right there. Wasn't wide open. She gave the hesitation. She looked inside to see if her post player was there.
Holly the drive on Yaney.
Pretty. That's just a pretty fake inside, Collie, and then you saw Jenna Allen kind of come up to set that screen and cleared the pathway for her to get to the bucket.
Out of bounds, it'll stay with Indiana. Hoosiers trailing by 3. They've had multiple members of their starting lineup pick up a couple of fouls, and Patberg not playing. I think if you're Terry Morin, Shelly, you got to feel pretty good about where you're at in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that her club has responded extremely well. And I like what Michigan State is doing. You notice every time they have a baseline out-of-bounds play, they're throwing something different. They're usually coming and setting a ball trap, and it's paid off for them.
Shea Colley now has 12 points in the game for Michigan State. And the Spartans have extended their lead to 6.
So I was just talking about the baseline out of bounds and the difference. Michigan State getting scrappy, getting in there, forcing the turnover, and then turning it into transition points. That's a great decision right there. Colley comes down, she gets set, she's established, has time to take that three. It's a shot that she can make.
Shea having a great game so far. 12 points in the early going for Michigan State. She leads all scorers. And you mentioned the turnovers. Take a look at these numbers here in Big Ten play versus in the non-conference schedule. Certainly the numbers have come down a little bit, but this is a team that's going to force you into a mistake, and they're going to get those steals.
Yeah, and they're doing an excellent job. And like I said, they're showing different defensive looks against this Indiana team in this game compared to what they did in Bloomington. And it's caused some problems for Indiana. You're seeing switching, you're seeing zone looks, you're seeing double teams, you're seeing traps. One of the things that Susie Merchant was not happy with her club is the way that they've been playing defense of late, and really challenged her team today to just get down and get after it.
Inside, that's Bellis who's fouled underneath. Kayla Bellis, the freshman from Ithaca, Michigan, off the bench.
Her first, team's third. At the line from Spartans, 42, Bellis shooting 2.
Brenna Wise picking up her first personal foul. Bellis 65% at the free throw line.
Royster replacing Ube.
Kim Royster checks back in for Indiana. Hoosiers have been a pretty good road team this year, 6-3. The Spartans so far unblemished here at home.
Well, Yaney, that's a good sign to see Yaney back in. That puts Grace Berger at the 2 spot, which is where they prefer to have her. But she started this game off so extremely well, offensively scoring. And right now, there's a little confusion with Indiana. You can see Berger looking at Yaney, shaking her head. They didn't know what they were in right there, and that is the result.
Off the missed shot, Allen, a nice feed underneath. And the bucket for Nia Holly.
This is a great job. Holly to Allen. Allen to Holly. Lots of players touching it. And that's our State Farm assist of the game.
At line 34, Berger, shooting 2.
And now Grace Berger at the free throw line. Berger now approaching 10 points. Mentioned that she had 10 in the first game against Michigan State. That was over the entire game. She's got 10 first half points tonight.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to start looking for her more as they move forward, not only to end this first half, but in the second half as well. Nice double. Actually, that's a quadruple team on Jenna Allen inside.
Holly on the second chance scoops it up there, no, and Bendu-Yanni grabs it. Nia Holly would have gotten some style points.
Yeah,
could have put that one in.
She's pretty good at that. That's kind of like in her repertoire, I think. We've seen her do that a few times.
Yanni around a screen into the lane with the right hand, no, gets the rebound. Penn drills the three.
Boy, did they need that. That is Indiana basketball right there. Attacking the glass, getting the offensive board, and then finding your open shooter on the perimeter.
Now down to a minute to go here in the first half in East Lansing. McCutcheon, no. Royster rips the rebound away. And a foul on Michigan State. That'll be on Caleb Ellis.
Well, this is an excellent job, and you got to start with Bendu-Yanni. Aggressive, getting the board, and then making the extra pass. Berger to Penn for 3. Jalen Penn, she loves that spot on the floor. She loves shooting threes, especially against Michigan State.
Jalen Penn, a 36% three-point shooter, and that one looked real good. Royster at the free throw line. Well, tomorrow, 3 of the top Big Ten teams are in action. Top 25 opponents, Purdue and Maryland, face off at 6:30. Then Michigan looks to keep pace at Penn State. Big Ten basketball presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans tomorrow. 1 out of 2 for Royster. 3-point game under a minute to go here in the first half.
Michigan State in that horn set, really trying to get the ball inside to Holly, and that's a forced pass out of Taryn McCutcheon, unnecessary, and that's a huge break for Michigan State because that was about to be a turnover, and you got to give Shake Holly credit right there for just out hustling. But this is
a foul.
Yeah, this is just not a good idea. The defense is right in front of Holly. If you're going to make that pass, that's got to be a lob over the top. No way that's getting through.
Foul on Worthen right there. So now about a second difference between the shot and the game clock.
McCutcheon going to wait here. Again, that high horn set with Michigan State. Double post action here.
McCutcheon inside Bellis. No. Gulbe's got it. 2 seconds left in the half. Berger fires it up at the buzzer, and that'll do it. First half in the books, and Michigan State a 3-point lead on Indiana.
Well, this is a typical Michigan State-Indiana matchup. Going to come down to the wire. The first half did not disappoint.
It did not, and the Spartans, who are unbeaten at home, trying to stay that way here in East Lansing. Sparty fired up for a good rivalry battle, and the Spartans with a 33-30 lead at the break. Stay with us. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and here in East Lansing, Michigan, the 12 varsity women's teams at Michigan State were all honored here at halftime in a nice ceremony at the Breslin Center, where we welcome you back. And alongside Shelley Till, my name is Jordan Burkfield. Thanks so much for joining us for this game between Michigan State and Indiana, which has been a real good one so far. We've got a 33-30 lead lead for the Spartans so far. But Indiana, we said off the top, Shelley, they were coming in playing without Allie Patberg, and Grace Berger has stepped up. The freshman's been great.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by the play of Grace Berger. She came onto the floor like she was a veteran and has been there, done that. And she did a phenomenal job setting the tone for Indiana across the board. You see her numbers, and then in addition has 4 assists. She played 18 minutes in that first half. I thought she did a great job. And then on the flip side, Shea Colley just did a phenomenal job for Michigan State as well, leading them with 12 points. She also plays 18 minutes in that half, has 5 rebounds to go along with it. So they're the 2 key players on either side of the basketball. One of the reasons this game is so tight.
As we get set to start the third quarter, too, one of the players that we figured would be a big part of this thing was Bendu Yanni. She's got no points in this game, 0 for 6 from the field, had 2 fouls, and also came down to the court pretty hard on a play, and so she might be a little bit banged up. But Indiana still only trails by 3 against the number 24 team in the country.
And a big reason for that is their ability defensively to push Michigan State outside of the lane. They're actually winning the paint war, as Jalen Penn's going to get 2 more to pad that stat.
Jalen Penn now with 9 points in the game.
Jenna Allen has got to get going. Right here, she's got to go up into Kim Royster. That's a great crossover move. Just couldn't get it to finish.
Jenna Allen just 1 point in the first half. So if you're Terry Morin, you have to feel pretty good about where things are, given the lack of depth. But if you're Susie Merchant, what do you think her message was to her team going into the second half?
Well, definitely, you need to get aggressive like Shea Colley just did off of the bounce. I think that they're settling. They kind of settled for some long-range shots when they could have pushed the issue. I think anytime you're up against a team that has a diminished roster like Indiana does, you've got to take advantage of that. And the way you take advantage isn't to stand out and just launch threes. It's to attack the defense.
That time, Brenna Wise launches a 3 and finds the bottom of the net. 7 points now for Brenna Wise. Mentioned both these teams want to shoot the 3. Michigan State tops in the Big Ten in terms of 3-point makes per game. Now an offensive foul. It'll go right back to Indiana.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better start to the second half than this. And Brenna Wise getting things going. And you can see Jenna Allen was late to close out on a great shooter in Brenna Wise.
Nia Clouden now with 3 fouls too, Shelley. So we saw Indiana, you mentioned the lack of depth. One of the issues that they've had is they had a number of players that had 2 fouls early in this game. Now Clouden, such a big part of Michigan State, playing with 3 here early in the third quarter.
Double high screen here. They're going to have to switch on that one. Now you got Gaines on Penn.
End of the shot clock, 2 seconds. Yanni fires up a 3, and it's a violation.
And Terry Morin looking at Jalen Penn like, what are you doing? That's not the play that I just called. She has some of the, if there was an all facial expression coach's team, she might be the captain of it.
I wonder what she'd think of that, but, you know.
She would own that. She would love that. You got the facial expression. Some people got the foot stomp.
Right. Some people pace around the court. I always feel like some of these coaches are trying to, get their Fitbit up by how much they run up and down the court. Yeah. Grace Berger had a real strong first half. 10 points on 3 of 5 from the field. Bendu Yanni still looking for that first basket, challenging McCutcheon. And now, on the wing, misses the 3, and the rebound to Colley.
And I know Penn got that shot off, but that was a really good defensive stance right there by Michigan State.
Going to the post for Cooks. Royster with good defense there.
Yeah, Royster doing an excellent job inside on Cooks, and Cooks really tried to force it over that left side. She's a little grimaced right now. dealing with some just kind of lingering, nagging injuries and hasn't been able to be 100% physically.
Well, we've talked a lot about the injury to Pat Berg, but Michigan State's dealt with several nagging injuries as well. Now Cooks will go to the bench. Jenna Allen checks back in. Foul was on Sydney Cooks. That's her second. Cooks been dealing with ankle injury, had some tendonitis in her Achilles earlier this season. Now on the inbound, jump ball, possession arrow will send it the other way.
Michigan State definitely has Indiana's number on these baseline out-of-bounds plays. I like what they've done defensively in terms of mixing things up. It's almost like they know exactly what play is coming, but what they've done and why that's been so disruptive is their ability to trap that first initial inbounds pass.
Shay Colley right to the basket. 16 in the game. She leads all scorers.
Shay Colley just makes the game of basketball look effortless. She's a player that can just, when that switch goes on, she is just fun to watch.
Inside, Wise, and that one knocked away. McCutcheon for three. That's good.
That's an excellent decision out of Taryn McCutcheon. She hasn't exactly hunted for her shot, but that time she recognized no one picked her up. You can't give her that much time on the three-point line.
First three that she's hit tonight. And now Goulbe from the baseline, and McCutcheon there for the rebound. Allen going to work in the post. Lost the handle and gains his foul.
So Taryn McCutcheon leads the charge here offensively as the point guard. Look at that. No red jersey was even near her when she comes around. And then Jenna Allen that's what she needs to do. If you can't get things going offensively, come in, make an impact defensively. She gets the block, which led to the transition. That's when Michigan State is at their best. They're either getting rebounds or they're getting stops defensively and able to push the ball up in transition, create mismatches, and find those open shooters.
Victoria Gaines, now 7 points in the game. Wise on the wing. This is the three. Cook gets the rebound. And then Colley right to the rack.
3 times Shay Colley has done that in this third quarter. And Terry Morin has had enough. She wants to talk it over.
She will call timeout, and Michigan State has extended its lead, a 9-0 run over the last 1 minute and 20 seconds. Shay Colley, the reason. Sunday, a full day of women's hoops comes your way. Penn State and Minnesota at 2, Michigan State and Nebraska at 4 o'clock, then Northwestern and Purdue at 6. That's all Sunday on BTN. Well, Shay Colley leading the way tonight for Michigan State.
Yeah, Shay Colley just came to work in the third quarter, doing a phenomenal job. She started things off extremely well in the first half, but I love when she puts the ball on the deck. She is so silky smooth. And take a look at her numbers for the evening. 18 points, 7 of 12 shooting, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. She's got 6 rebounds. She's a perfect 3 for 3 in the third quarter alone, Jordan.
And one of the reasons why Michigan State right now on a 9-0 run. Jalen Penn trying to end it, cannot, and the rebound to Cook. Drika Cook navigating into the paint, can't get it to go.
That's a tough move by Cook. Good push in transition by Indiana.
Royster misses, grabs her own rebound, and then draws the foul. And so we'll have a foul shot when we come back. Michigan State up 44-37. They're dancing, they're grooving here in the third quarter at the Breslin Center. I think you pointed this out before, Shelly. I don't know if this dance necessarily goes with the song, but I like that they're doing it.
It's all right. They're up. They're having fun. They're into it.
They absolutely are. Let's take a look at the Big Ten standings right now, and you see Maryland and Iowa right there with Rutgers just a game back. Then from Michigan State all the way down to Ohio State, everyone's bunched in the middle.
Yeah, and that's why the significance of this game for Michigan State is so huge, because they can ill afford a loss is going to drop them below that gold line, and that's the coveted spot, if you will, above that top 4. Everyone's shooting to get there.
Now Kim Royster at the free throw line. That's why it's a huge game for Michigan State. You mentioned trying to keep that spot. Indiana, they just want to win here tonight. They've lost 5 of their last 7 after a great start. And Shea Colley, no one can stop her right now. She's got 20.
And that's just not stopping transition. You got to identify shooters, ball handlers, and nobody back. At this point, if you're Indiana, you got to start picking people up at the half-court line.
And now foul. Or sorry, kick ball. And so it'll be an inbound coming from Indiana and Yaney.
Michigan State again switches all of the screens. Indiana's a team that loves to run multiple screen action. That time they switched. They haven't switched all game in this quarter court defense. So keeping Indiana on their toes.
End of the shot clock again. Does Indiana know it? Penn at the very end of the shot clock misses from long range. Now a foul with some contact underneath between Yaney and Gaines.
And Bendu Yaney's looking like, come on, man, are you kidding me? It looked like they both just kind of lost their footing and fell down together. Here, we're going to take a look at it. And Gaines is just kind of pushing in, trying to establish her position, and both players fall to the ground. Yaney gets rung up for it.
She's got 3 fouls now. Allen, nice turnaround, but again, just a little short.
Jenna Allen's getting great looks, but you can see the frustration on her face. 0 for 7 tonight. And this is Jenna Allen that's coming off of a 2-point game at Iowa, that loss last Thursday at Iowa. So she's had back-to-back games and she's struggled.
Jenna Allen, the leading scorer and rebounder for Michigan State, normally so consistent. 9 points coming into tonight from 1,000 in her career. Just 1 tonight. She needs 8. And there's a big basket for Indiana. Bendu Yaney with her first of the night.
And that ends just 1 of 6 of their last 10 attempts, Indiana.
McCutcheon a 3-try. Off target and a foul. Send it the other way.
Victoria Gaines.
Number 4 on Victoria Gaines.
And she thought she was coming out of the game, so she walks over to the bench, and Susie Merchant says, no, get back in the game.
Yeah.
But you can see the frustration on her face. And this is where, as a player, you got to collect yourself. You got to regroup, because you can't be wearing that last mistake or that last foul on your sleeve, because typically when you do that, it just leads you down a bad path to another mistake.
Well, Victoria Gaines, the redshirt junior out of Merrillville, Indiana. She's always been that defensive stalwart, defensive captain of the team. And this year, the challenge that Susie Merchant gave her was to be a more consistent offensive threat. And she felt that would really round out her game. And so far this year, the numbers are up.
She ended up going to the bench, still frustrated over there, you can see. But this was another game back-to-back. She also got some foul trouble, again, last week against Iowa. 4 fouls in that game as well. So that's one of the areas that Susie Merchant, as they don't give up a foul there, Yaney does a nice job attacking, but Susie Merchant is concerned about her team's level of defensive play in terms of not fouling, moving their feet, getting high hands on shooters, arms out wide on the ball. Here's where they put the ball on the deck. It continues to be a bugaboo for some of these players.
Colley now at 22, but significantly for Indiana, Bendu Yeaney has scored 4 straight points. Now a foul coming up against Cooks.
Well, Shea Colley, again, moving without the basketball. Typically, we see the ball in her hand, creating off the bounce, but she just does a great job of, she hedged to the left, and then she crossed over right in front of the defender, an easy 2 for her. If I'm not mistaken, she's the only player, she scored every point in the third quarter except for Taryn McCutcheons.
I believe that is right. And miss from Royster. Shea Colley, 22 points now, approaching a career high. Colley's career high is 28. Royster now with 7 in this one.
So that high horn set. That's where Shea Colley going to work right here.
Draws the foul going into the paint.
You know you're feeling it when you're getting that kind of call. That was a deliberate setup for Colley to go one-on-one off the slip screen by Jenna Allen, doing an excellent job because Allen is a player that you've got to defend, and so you got to make a decision. Are you going with her or are you staying with Colley?
Kiana Worthen will be called for that one.
To the hole. All of a sudden, she has picked it up, recognizing just an open lane. But you're Michigan State, you got to have an answer for that.
And that one will roll out. 19 to shoot, a minute to go here in this third quarter. Susie Merchant looking on. Hard-fought battle yet again. Indiana's won 3 straight games overall against Michigan State.
And we got a different defensive look here for Indiana. Michigan State trying to figure it out. A 2-1-2 set here. Holden Royster right in the middle.
Well, it's your night when that goes down. Shea Colley at the end of the shot clock buries the 3.
Are you kidding me?
27 points now.
She is the only player in double figures for Michigan State.
And now Plowden off the steal in the basket. Seconds left in the third. Here's Berger at the free throw line. No, and the third quarter ends. And Michigan State now with a 10-point lead. While the Spartans had it down to 4 and now extend it back to 10 through 3. It's been Shea Colley's night. She's got 27. And they are dancing in East Lansing. 10-point lead now for Michigan State. The 24th ranked Spartans enter this fourth quarter seeking their 13th home victory of the year, and Shea Colley putting on a show, 15 points in the third.
Yeah, she was absolutely phenomenal in the third quarter, and she just played with another gear, attacking off the bounce, moving without the basketball, spotting up for threes with people in her face. Shea Colley has come to play. 6 of 7 in the third quarter. That's the stat line for most people in a game. Shooting 62.5% from the field. Those are post-player percentages. I tell you what, Shea Colley.
And for good measure,
impressive.
Knocking down threes at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing something right when you're able to knock down shots like that. That's just playing at a whole other level. Mentally, she has really taken the team on her back. As I mentioned, the only player for Michigan State thus far who is in double figures.
Jalen Penn coming around the screen. A foul called against Michigan State. That'll go against Mardrika Cook.
Hard foul called on number 2, Cook. Her second.
Second on Mardrika. Now a near turnover, but a nice job by Grace Berger to keep the possession. Grace Berger's been impressive tonight.
Yeah, she really has. And this is, no matter what happens, the outcome for this game, this is tremendous experience for her against a ranked team in Michigan State as a freshman coming in here under the gun. It's kind of baptism by fire for Grace Berger. As we mentioned, she's had point guard experience in high school, but nothing compares to being in the Big Ten again against a ranked team, and she just kind of got thrown into it. So I've been very impressed with her poise and her ability. She really started this game off very well.
You missed earlier tonight. Allie Patberg out right now, dislocated shoulder, out indefinitely. So in goes Grace Berger, the freshman, and impressing tonight. Off a turnover now. Via Holly to the rack. No. Yaney to rebound.
I like this matchup with Jalen Penn and Shea Colley. Two just gamers going at it right now.
Jalen Penn. That's a nice one with the left hand. She's got 13.
You talk about two players that can go off the bounce, that can hit from the outside, that can create shots for themselves, and that's what you get in both Jalen Penn and Shea Colley.
And Shea Colley just cannot miss a new season high. She's got 29.
She is in some kind of zone right now. Impressive.
11 of 17 now from the field.
I think her coach is going to be happy with the consistency she's shown up with here tonight.
Kim Royster, nice move around Allen.
Last by 11, Royster.
When you consider, too, what Colley's doing, when Jenna Allen has 1 point and is 0 for 7 from the field. And she's the leading scorer for Michigan State.
Absolutely. She's making up for it and then some. That's what you need to do. That's what a good teammate does, is when one of your teammates is down, you got to find another gear, another way to make up for it.
Colley the miss. Penn, the 3 try. Too strong and out of bounds.
And a little bit of desperation by Penn on that shot. But Shea Colley isn't doing anything out of desperation. She is just on fire tonight for Michigan State. Gets the handoff from Jenna Allen. Just in stride. It's like she's constantly has that expression on her face. Nothing phases her.
She's been great tonight. So then, if you're Indiana, can you slow her down over the next 7:24? What do the Hoosiers have to do to try to cut into this deficit?
Well, you got to try to limit her touches. And they've got Bendu Yaney on her at this end, and that's their best defensive option in terms of a one-on-one matchup. But at this point, she has single-handedly beaten you, so you've got to face guard her. I'd throw some junk defense at her, make her do something different, get her out of her rhythm. She's not doing anything out of her comfort zone right now.
10-point lead for Michigan State after Allen got her first field goal of the night. Now Yaney, nice move.
Dang, she went in there with force.
Bendu Yaney now with 8, all in the second half. Try from the wing from Clouded, no. Allen there, second chance, no. And a foul.
And just the frustration out of Jenna Allen. But at the other end of the floor, Bendu Yaney sets up McCutcheon, and she just bulldozed her way into Taryn McCutcheon for 2 off the glass.
Lindsay Marchese called for the foul.
The difference between Yaney's numbers first half, she was scoreless, struggled, 4 or 5 in this half. That's what you want to see out of your player at halftime. Regroup, flush that first half performance, and come out and do what you know you can do.
Sure has done that. First half held scoreless in the second half. Yaney's looked much better. Now, opportunity at the free throw line for Taryn McCutcheon after the foul on Wise. There's Allie Patberg out with that shoulder injury. You know she really wants to be out on the floor with her Indiana teammates. And she was out on the court this season. She's been a leading scorer, leading assist player for Indiana. One of the best players in this conference when healthy, but has dealt with injuries in her career. Now off the block, a turnover.
And the block by guess who? Shea Colley.
Shea Colley's been everywhere tonight and out driving. And the foul.
So Shea Colley is not just a one-dimensional player. The length and the elevation to get her arm out and then going in transition, just breaking down, going in against two defenders. I've not seen Shea Colley play this well in her career. She's doing a phenomenal job. And you've got to see across the board from her, you know, just it's not just scoring, it's the defense. You see the numbers there, but getting it in multiple different ways, and as I mentioned, the block shots and the way she's playing defense and steals. Just an all-around tremendous game for Shea Colley.
And Yaney, another nice move with the left hand. Like you said it, Shea Colley's got 30 of the 61 points for Michigan State.
Almost approaching a new career high for her.
Ellis, nice play off the glass. Caleb Ellis getting some minutes here in this fourth quarter and coming through with a bucket. This time Bellis the foul. Jalen Penn will come back in for Indiana. They try to generate some offense as time winds down. Yaney to the bench with 5:17 left in this fourth quarter. Nice inbounds play to Royster, but can't get the roll.
That's just frustration as Terry Morin just takes a seat, shaking her head.
And it leads to three on the other end. Taryn McCutcheon buries the triple.
That might be the dagger in this Indiana Hoosier club. Putting them up 13 under 5 to go.
Berger the miss. And the rebound to Gaines. Michigan State has been real good in the second half, but that's certainly a momentum swing. And now on the turnover, the Hoosiers trying to cut into what's now a 13-point deficit. Penn hits a three. Nice response from Jalen Penn.
When you need a bucket, Jalen Penn's the one you got to go to, especially with Allie Patberg on the bench. She's got to be your go-to player, and she connects on that one. Remember, she's hit clutch shots against Michigan State.
Hit that three with 47 seconds to go to beat Michigan State back on January 6th. There's Plowden on the drive and a strong finish.
This is where the depth is going to come into play for Indiana. Players looking like they're a little bit gassed here. Not a deep bench with those injuries.
Penn for three again. That's good. Jalen Penn now at 19.
And she cuts the game to 9.
And a timeout. Not a whole lot of time left, but Jalen Penn doing everything she can for Indiana.
Absolutely. Jalen Penn, just a gamer, lighting it up in front of her team's bench. Pulls them to within 10. And then at the other end, Taryn McCutcheon says, anything you can do, I can do too.
A 22-15 third quarter is what has distanced Michigan State from Indiana, and Shea Colley's performance, she's got 30 points and 6 rebounds to go along with 4 steals. Also one of the big reasons as you take a look now at the middle of the Big Ten standings, which are all these teams just bunched together. Right now, Michigan State holding that 4th spot, and a win tonight could move them to 7-5. An all-important position for Michigan State to try to hold.
It absolutely is, and regaining that ranking, and that is where you want to be, in the top 4 of the conference as we approach the latter part into the Big Ten tournament. They want that coveted first round bye, so every game from here on out for Michigan State especially is of utmost importance. They got to take care of business here, and it starts with the remaining 3:33 here. They've got to be in complete command offensively. There's no need for them to get in any kind of rush. And then you just got to stop, make defensive stops at the other end of the floor, looking for Indiana to try to score quickly.
Here's McCutcheon, a 3 from the wing. Taryn McCutcheon now with 12 points and a big second half. She's hit 3 triples tonight.
I was just going to say, she's hit threes at opportune times when Michigan State has really needed one. I like the way she plays. She's not trying to force anything. She's not trying to get a certain amount of shots. But when they need her, she's not afraid to step up and take that open look. And this time, Indiana went into that zone defense, trying to get Michigan State out of a rhythm, and McCutcheon just stood there and said, here I am, wide open from the wing.
Michigan State trying to move to 13-0 here at the Breslin Center this season. And now Colley has a new career high in scoring. 32 points for Shea Colley.
I love her versatility, Jordan. She does it off the bounce. She does it from the three-point line. She can hit free throws, and she showed you her ability to post up right there.
And an outstanding game for Shea Colley, especially on a night when Jenna Allen only has 3, and some of the other players for Michigan State that you would expect to be bigger offensively would do.
And just watch her move without the basketball. She's going to curl right around. She gets Yaney on her backside, and that's just one-on-one. Easy lay-in, post move by Colley.
32 points, 12 of 18 from the field. Can't ask for much better than that.
And you got to, I mean, the last time these two played, she had 7 points.
Right.
7 points in the game, 4 fouls. She only played 21 minutes in their last matchup.
Playing here at home, she has saved a great performance for these fans.
This is good defense by Michigan State. They're forcing Indiana to use a lot of that shot clock.
Now it turns it back to Michigan State. Do you feel like Indiana maybe needed to make some quicker shots, or take some quicker shots, I should say, over the last few minutes?
Absolutely. I think, but some of that you got to credit to Michigan State defensively, because they're taking away what Indiana likes to do is attack the middle of the lane and drive and pitch if they don't have the layup, and they're not giving them any looks in terms of driving into that paint, and that forces them to have to move the ball around and eat up shot clock.
So Michigan State's done a great job with that. Now 4 fouls on Jalen Penn. And Indiana certainly playing a little bit shorthanded, obviously, with Pat Berg out, and they've dealt with foul trouble at different points in this game tonight. And Michigan State with a 14-point lead with under 90 seconds left here in East Lansing. Spartans holding on to that 4 seed in the Big Ten standings right now. And for Indiana, Shelley, you're now looking at a Hoosiers team that will have lost 6 of its last 8 games.
Yeah, just a rough stretch, and it doesn't get any easier for them going forward either. Indiana just with an absolute brutal schedule coming up, and with the loss, as we continue to talk about, Ali Patberg, their leading, second leading scorer, leading the team as a point guard and in minutes played. That's significant as they go forward and have to play, like I said, the schedule that they have coming up. And so it's undetermined. She's out indefinitely. They don't know exactly what her status will be, but you can only hope that Allie Patberg can come back sooner than later for Indiana.
Yeah, you just saw it. Started the Big Ten at 4-1, and after winning the WNIT championship last year, there was so much reason to believe that Indiana could be somewhere near the top of the standings after such a great finish to last season. But the injuries that they've dealt with and the slide that they're on, you got Michigan coming up, then Rutgers, and those are going to be two tough games right there.
And then they have Iowa following Rutgers.
And a big dose of Megan Gustafson, who continues to win Big Ten Player of the Week. Did so again after the 41 that she dropped on Michigan State last week. Michigan State, on the other hand, looking to move to 7-5 in Big Ten play, 17-6 overall. And other than that loss at Iowa, this would be their fourth win in 5 games. So Susie Merchant's team surging at the right time.
Yeah, they really are. And again, I think a lot of Michigan State's shift in momentum in terms of winning games comes because they're finally healthy, or healthier than they were when they started the season. I don't think Susie Merchant's ever quite happy with the health of her team. However, because they have enough team players healthy in practice, they're now starting to mesh and meld together.
Look at our players of the week in the Big Ten. Megan Gustafson yet again. She basically, they could call this award the Gustafson this year because she wins it every week. And then Hillman, the winner, the freshman for Michigan. But every game is just incredible to watch what Megan Gustafson is able to do. And certainly Michigan State saw that last week in Iowa City.
Yeah, I mean, Megan Gustafson is just, the entire country's talking about her. Yeah. She's obviously in the conversation for Player of the Year nationally as well, not just in the Big Ten, but she's a force to be reckoned with, and she handed it to Michigan State Thursday in Iowa City, and she continues to do that. She is playing like a senior on a mission who knows that her time is limited.
Absolutely, and so now you think Michigan State coming up will play Thursday at Wisconsin and then go to Nebraska. The Spartans have not been nearly as good on the road this year. So those will be two interesting games for Susie Merchant's team. Yaney will inbound, just 6 seconds to shoot for the Hoosiers with under a minute to go. Royster turns it right over to Colley. Who else?
Well, Michigan State was definitely tested early by Indiana in this one, and able to withstand and do the things that Susie Merchant wanted them to do, and that was really her biggest thing, was lock down on defense. You're holding a Michigan ball club to 59 points, and this is a Michigan club that averages 71 points a game on the season. So that's not, you can't take that lightly, especially, like I said, a team where she's really been harping at her team to play better defense, to stay out of foul trouble, and quite frankly, to keep the other team off of the free throw line.
Michigan State tonight is taking 20 free throws as this one upcoming from Clouden. Indiana has only had 12 free throw tries in the game.
And that's another big shift from the first time these two played. It's also another big shift for Michigan State in terms of coming off of their last game, that loss at Iowa, where they put Iowa on the line 21 times, and they only got their 13 themselves.
Nia Clouden, double-figure scoring game with 11. And this one tonight. So the final score is going to look a lot more lopsided than it was. Indiana, as you said, Shelley, really tested Michigan State for a lot of this game, but the score is going to look like Michigan State dominated all the way through, but really a lot of this has come late in the second half.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And, you know, you could tell a lot of this run that Michigan State is on, this 9-0 run. A lot of this is because Indiana is just deflated, frustrated, and they're trying to score points in bunches. And sometimes when you do that, you make poorer decisions than you would early in a game in terms of shot selection. And you see the looks on the faces on the bench, and Jalen Powell, their head down, and just frustration, especially when you know that you beat this team on your home floor. You beat them when they were ranked higher. I believe they were 15th at the time. But you just got to continue to build on it, and it's been, like I said, great experience for the Hoosiers.
44-31, Michigan State outscores Indiana in the second half, and the Spartans remain unbeaten at home. The 24th ranked Michigan State Spartans pick up the 77-61 win over Indiana, and Michigan State now 13-0 here at the Breslin Center this season, and they hand Indiana their 6th loss in 8 games. Michigan State plays a great second half, and Shake Holly certainly one of the big reasons for it. 32 points, and 20 of them coming after the break, and that 32 a career high, but 8 of 9 from the field in the second half. 15 points in the third quarter, which allowed Michigan State to distance itself from Indiana and find their way to a victory here tonight. So Michigan State continues to play pretty well. They've won now 4 of their last 5, and the magic number is always when they score 70.